Hey everyone, it's Pastor Kyle here. We're on 1 Kings chapter 8. As we continue our bite-sized Bible reading, let's get into it. The ark brought into the house of Yahweh. Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel and all the heads of the tribes, the leaders of the fathers' households of the sons of Israel, to King Solomon in Jerusalem to bring up the ark of the covenant of Yahweh from the city of David, which is Zion. And all the men of Israel assembled themselves to King Solomon at the feast in the month of Ethiam, which is the 7th month. Then all the elders of Israel came, and the priests carried the ark. And they brought up the ark of Yahweh in the tent of meeting, and all the holy utensils which were in the tent, and the priests and the Levites brought them up. And King Solomon and all the congregation of Israel who congregated to him, being with him before the ark, were sacrificing so many sheep and oxen they could not be counted or numbered. Then the priest brought the ark of the covenant of Yahweh to its place, into the inner sanctuary of the house, to the Holy of Holies, under the wings of the cherubim. For the cherubim spread their wings over the place of the ark, and the cherubim made a covering over the ark and its poles from above. But the poles were so long that the ends of the poles could be seen from the holy place before the inner sanctuary, but they could not be seen outside, and they are there to this day. There is nothing in the ark except the 2 tablets of stone which Moses laid there at Horeb, where Yahweh cut a covenant with the sons of Israel when they came out of the land of Egypt. Now it happened that when the priests came out of the holy place, the cloud filled the house of Yahweh, so that the priests could not stand to minister because of the cloud. For the glory of the Lord filled the house of Yahweh. Solomon blesses the people. Verse 12. Then Solomon said, Yahweh has said that he would dwell in the cloud of dense gloom. I have surely built you a lofty house, a place for your dwelling forever. Then the king turned his face and blessed all the assembly of Israel, while all the assembly of Israel was standing. And he said, Blessed be Yahweh, the God of Israel, who spoke with his mouth to my father David, and has fulfilled it by his hand, saying, Since the day I brought my people from Israel from Egypt, I did not choose a city out of all the tribes of Israel in which to build a house, that my name might be there. But I have chosen David to be over my people Israel. And it was in the heart of my father David to build a house for the name of Yahweh, the God of Israel. But Yahweh said to my father David, Because it was in your heart to build a house for my name, you did well that was in your heart. Nevertheless, you shall not build a house, but your son, who will come forth from your loins, he shall build a house for my name. And Yahweh has established his word which he spoke, and I have been established in place of my father David, and sit on the throne of Israel as Yahweh promised, and have built the house for the name of Yahweh, the God of Israel. And there I have set a place for the ark, in which the covenant of Yahweh, which he cut from our fathers when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. Solomon's prayer for Israel in verse 22. Then Solomon stood before the altar of Yahweh, before all the assembly of Israel, and spread out his hands toward heaven. And he said, O Yahweh, the God of Israel, there is no God like you in heaven above or upon the earth beneath, keeping covenant and loving kindness to your slaves who walk before you with all your heart, who have kept with your servant, my father David, that which you have promised him. Indeed, you have promised your mouth, and have fulfilled it by your hand as it is this day. So now, O Yahweh, the God of Israel, keep your servant David, my father, that which you have promised him, saying, You shall not have a man cut off from before me who is to sit on the throne of Israel. If only your sons keep their way to walk as you have walked before me. So now, O God of Israel, let your word truly endure, which you have spoken to your servant my father David. But will God truly dwell on earth? Behold, heaven and the highest heaven cannot contain you. How much less this house which I have built? Yet have regard to the prayer of your slave, and to his supplication, O Yahweh, my God, to listen to the cry and to the prayer which your slave prays before you today, that your eyes may be open toward this house night and day, toward the place of which you have said, My name shall be there, to listen to the prayer which your slave shall pray toward this place. And listen to the supplication of your slave and your people Israel. When they pray toward this place, listen in heaven in your dwelling place, listen and forgive. If a man sins against his neighbor and is made to take an oath, and he comes and takes an oath before you, your altar in this house, then listen in heaven and act and judge your slaves, condemning the wicked by bringing his way on his own head, and justifying the righteous by bringing him reward according to his righteousness. When your people Israel are defeated before an enemy, because they have sinned against you, if they turn to you and confess your name and pray and make supplication to you in this house, then listen in heaven and forgive the sin of your people Israel, and bring them to the land which you gave to their fathers. When the heavens are shut up and there is no rain, because they have not sinned against you, and they pray toward this place and confess your name and turn from their sin when you afflict them, then listen in heaven and forgive the sin of your slaves and of your people Israel. Indeed, teach them the good in which they should walk, and give rain on your land which you have given to your people for an inheritance. If there is famine in the land, if there is pestilence, if there is scorching wind or mildew, locust or grasshopper, if the enemy besieges them in the land of their cities, whatever plague, whatever sickness there is, whatever prayer or supplication is made by any man or by all your people Israel, each of whom knows the affliction of his own heart, and spreads his hands toward this house, then listen in heaven your dwelling place, and forgive and act to each according to all his ways, whose heart you know. For you alone know the hearts of the sons of men, that they may fear you all the days that they live upon the face of the land which you have given to your fathers. Also concerning the foreigner who is not of your people Israel, if he comes from a far country for your name's sake, for they will hear of your great name and your strong hand and your outstretched arm. So if he comes and prays towards this house, listen in your heaven, your dwelling place, and do according to all for which the foreigner calls to you, in order that all the peoples of the earth may know your name to fear you, as do your people Israel, and to know that your name is called upon the house which I built. When your people go out to battle against their enemy, by whatever way you shall send them, and pray to Yahweh toward the city which you have chosen, at the house which I have built for your name, then listen in heaven to their prayer and their supplication, and do justice. When they sin against you, for there is no man who does not sin, and you are angry with them, and give them over to an enemy, so that they take them away captive to the land of the enemy, far off or near. And if they cause these things to return to their heart in the land where they have been taken captive, and return, make supplication to you in the land who you have taken them captive, saying, we have sinned and have committed iniquity, we have acted wickedly. And if they return to you with all their heart, with all their soul, in their land of their enemies, who have taken them captive, and prayed toward you that their land which you have given to you, to their fathers, the city which you have chosen, and the house which I have built for your name, then listen in heaven, your dwelling place, to their prayer and their supplication, and do justice for them, and forgive your people who have sinned against you, and all their transgressions which they have transgressed against you, and give them over as objects of compassion before those who have taken them captive, that they may have compassion on them. For they are your people and your inheritance, which you have brought forth from Egypt, from the midst of the iron furnace, that your eyes may be open to the supplication of your slave, to the supplication of your people Israel, to listen to them whenever they call to you. For you have separated them from all the peoples of the earth as your inheritance, as you spoke by the hand of Moses your servant, when you brought out our fathers from Egypt, O Lord Yahweh. Solomon blesses Yahweh. Now it happened that when Solomon had finished praying this entire prayer and supplication to Yahweh, he arose from before the altar of Yahweh, from kneeling on his knees with his hands spread toward heaven. And he stood and blessed all the assembly of Israel, the loud voice, saying, Blessed be Yahweh, who has given rest to his people Israel. According to all that he promised, not one promise has failed, all of his good promises, which he promised by the hand of Moses his servant. May Yahweh our God be with us, as he was with our fathers. May he not forsake us or abandon us, that he may incline our hearts to himself, to walk in all his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments which he commanded our fathers. And may these words of mine, with which I have made supplication before Yahweh, be near to Yahweh our God in night, day and night, that he may do justice for his slave and justice for his people Israel, as each day requires, so that all peoples of the earth may know that Yahweh is God, there is no one else. Let your heart, therefore, be wholly devoted to Yahweh our God, to walk in his statutes and keep his commandments, as at this day. The offering for the house of Yahweh. In verse 62, now the king and all Israel with him were offering sacrifices before Yahweh. And Solomon offered for the sacrifice of peace offerings, which he offered to Yahweh 22,000 oxen and 120,000 sheep. So the king and all the sons of Israel dedicated the house of Yahweh. On the same day, the king set apart as holy the middle of the court that was before the house of Yahweh, because there he offered the burnt offering and the grain offering and the fat of the peace offerings. For the bronze altar that was before Yahweh was too small to hold the burnt offering and the grain offering and the fat of the peace offering. So Solomon celebrated the feast at that time, and all Israel with him, a great assembly from Leheboth to the brook of Egypt, before Yahweh our God, for 7 days and 7 more days, even 14 days. On the 8th day he sent the people away, and they blessed the king. Then they went to their tents with gladness and the goodness of heart, because of all the goodness that Yahweh had shown to David his servant, and Israel his people. Okay, everyone, once again, a very long reading, but my summary is Solomon blesses Israel and also blesses God. The thing that I take away from this, and I think is very interesting, is we just see the hearts and the flourishing spiritual faith that is being seen here. The people are truly following after God and seeking after God. And boy, if they would have just kept on the same track throughout history, a lot of their problems wouldn't have happened. But they decided to chase after other gods, and lots of bad things were happening because of that. So just a reminder to me to always be faithful to God, and just to continue to walk with him every single day and not get distracted and go off to other things. All right, everyone, thanks a lot, and have a great day.